Welcome to TheCoLab, the only podcast for business owners who are committed to growth through the power of collaboration and teamwork. Get ready to put your heads together to boost your business to the next level with your hosts, the ultimate team players, Megan Marsh and Munar.
I am so excited to introduce to everyone an obsessed with success and a passion for helping others, someone who is very important to Andre and I. He was part of our growth, success coming together. He's an author who wrote The Millionaire Loan Officer and Agent Mastermind, Scott Hudspeth. Currently, Scott is the founder of agentmastermind.com, which is the largest online training for agents in the country. It was created to help loan officers and realtors get access to the most up-to-date training offered. Agent Mastermind covers topics like scripting to running successful Facebook ad campaigns, and it's for real estate agents and loan officers. Scott's career began as a loan officer in 2003. He quickly soared up to a top producer, closing up to 10 loans a month by his fourth month in the business, which is very hard. And within just 2 years in this profession, Scott was at the top of his game, closing $25 million in closed loans annually. And he was helping clients reach their potential, unlock the opportunities of a lifetime. So through his work, Scott has built a company from $170 million in 2013 to over $1 billion in closed volume in 2016 by having an amazing team and being relentless about picking up the phone. He now mentors loan officers and real estate agents across the country, helping them to go from having a job to having a real estate business. And that really means something. So despite his personal success, Scott remains dedicated to one philosophy. He says, helping people to realize they are worthy of so much more, staying focused on what really matters, and helping them to achieve their short and long-term goals, dreams, and desires is the only reward needed in life. I love that. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you, Megan.
I mean, I've listened to all of your teachings, Andre and I. I mean, what you put together, what you built was what helped us build what we did.
Excellent. Well, I'm proud of you guys for taking action.
Thank you. We try.
That's right.
And we always start the show off with a fun question before we get into some questions that we wanted to ask you, because I'm sure everyone listening.
It's our special question. We got a special question for you.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Our special question. So we picked a good one for you to try to throw you off, because I'm sure it's hard to throw Scotty Hudspeth off. All right. So your question is, what is your favorite sound and why? Sound or noise?
Oh man, that's an easy one. Oh my God. Yeah, it's the cash register.
So what does it sound like?
So easy. Cha-ching, cha-ching. I wish that every time, and so I got two of them actually. So I don't know how I received this, but back in the day, I somehow in the mail received one of those Yahoo buttons where if you hit it, it says Yahoo. And so every time that I get an approval of a borrower, or I would get on the intercom of the company's intercom system, of the phone system, and I would play that. And so it kind of gave a jump in the office. Yeah. So, but I said, man, I wish I could have it so that every time someone applied online on my application, that it would go cha-ching, cha-ching. It'd be kind of fun, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Those are definitely some good noises.
Yes, sir.
So, Scotty, people are, they're looking for experiences. They're reading reviews online these days. They want to be guided, assisted. People don't want to be sold to these days. They want to be educated. They want to know who you are and, essentially what can you do for them? You've done an excellent job at building a brand. Everybody in the industry knows who you are. You've built a name for yourself in the industry and the mortgage and real estate, and it has nothing to do with mortgages. Can you tell us a little bit about this and your journey creating a brand for Scotty Hudspeth? up to where you are today?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to talk about that. So one of the things that I don't know how I fell into this, but I read the book, 7 Steps to Living Your Best Life Now by Joel Osteen. And he said, give unconditionally to other people and it'll come back to you threefold. And it's actually come back to me tenfold. So what I do is I go into something going, how can I help somebody else with zero expectation of anything in return from myself? And then determine whether they're a true business partner that could be a business partner with me. And do I like working with them? And do I want to work with them? But first I go into it going, how do I help them with something in their lives or their business that can help them have more growth, freedom, and coolness in their daily lives? And so that's what started Agent Mastermind. It was like, how do I help give loan officers something to talk about besides themselves that actually helps somebody else, which in this case is agents, to have more growth, freedom, and coolness, get more buyer side transactions, get more sellers, convert that traffic, and set up a follow-up plan, and then ask for the business in a really cool way that has referrals coming in. And in doing that, that's how I built my brand. I just made it about other people first, but I made it about two different people, like the loan officers and real estate agents. There's such a wall there, like realtors give referrals, mortgage professionals get referrals. So I'm like, okay, maybe I could just help both to get referrals and then together collaboratively work together in unison when it comes to helping the client like realize who the client is, and then helping the buyer or the seller to have an amazing experience. And then with that experience, there's more referrals coming in. So it's just amazing how it worked out that way, that I made it about training, tools, systems, strategies, up to date, social media, everything that's up to date. And it's been 7 years now. Can you believe that? 7 years every single Tuesday for 7 years. I've been putting on the training for loan officers and real estate agents. So it's been a really cool thing. Met some amazing people.
That is really cool. And like I said, it's how we got started in the business, and to see what you've done with it. Now, do you still do mortgages? And for anyone who's listening who maybe isn't in the real estate mortgage industry and is listening, so you started doing this on Tuesdays, and it just grew into this really big thing now.
Yeah, it's funny. I started on Mondays, and there's so many holidays on Mondays, and I'm like, all right, I don't want to miss it, so I'm going to go to Tuesdays. So when I first started it was Mondays, but now it's Tuesdays. So yeah, I started doing it, and the first year was probably the toughest, and that was probably my biggest lesson. So my first year, there was really very little traction in what I was trying to do. But what I didn't realize and what I didn't know at the time, not knowing what I know now, is it was an amazing market at the time, and the typical loan officer didn't need or necessarily want more realtor relationships because they had so much business coming in from low rate and all the things that allow you to make money without doing the hard things, which is building a new relationship with somebody that could be a referral partner. So after that first year, and this is back in I don't know when it was, but when the rates went up, I literally 2008, and has it been that long? So
yeah, because it was when I had my first child. I remember the day.
Yeah. So what happened was I persistently, and this leads into why this worked out, is most people start something when it comes to branding or when it comes to social media, and they're like, okay, I'm not seeing any results. I'm not getting any feedback. There's no instant gratification. So I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm going to try something else. And I'm going to keep trying something else until I get to where something works. And the problem is nothing ever works unless you consistently do it, where it has to do with building your brand persistently. So in saying that, after a year of time, I went from like 130 people using Agent Mastermind. In one day, I added 80 members, and I'm like, holy crap, what happened? And I realized that when people are not working, focused on going from having a job in survival mode to building a business, they're just always living in survival mode, which creates those up and down roller coasters. Good month, bad month, good month, bad month, because they're going with whatever it is that is easiest instead of the hardest, which is building a true business, building solid relationships and keeping those relationships and appreciating those relationships. So it just turned into a need of, I need something to build related relationships, and Agent Mastermind was just there to fill that void.
Huh. That is really cool.
Pretty.
And And you're right, because rates went up an entire percentage point in one day. And you're probably right. It changed a lot of people's businesses.
Overnight, people went out of business and they were struggling to go, all right, I haven't done anything to build or solidify or keep relationships that will give me referrals on as far as the purchase business goes. I mean, you guys know we had 7 years of amazing growth, like amazing business. People were making boatloads of money with no resistance. Like the average client wouldn't call you and fight about 3.25 or 3.5. They're like, there's no fighting, right? Like whatever it is, it's good enough. And so I'm not going to shop you because that's holy crap, that's good enough. Well, as soon as it went to 4, it's like, ooh, maybe I should check this out. Maybe I should shop. And so the people that haven't perfected their craft or practiced their craft or built a deep enough relationship or created a referable experience were losing customers left and right because they didn't have a deep relationship with their clients.
Yeah, so that's definitely a hurdle and a challenge that a lot of people faced when that happened, because then you go, okay, what do I do now? I'm basically losing my face and I'm losing my business. Right. So Scotty, what hurdles have you personally faced, and how have you overcome those?
Yeah, so the biggest hurdle was, and it was just in a book called. Let me grab it real quick. It's a book called The Art of the Comeback. So I've had many failures and a big one. I've had a big failure. And so I was asked to be in a book, and it's called The Art of the Comeback. I actually, back in the day, had a business that failed miserably. I got involved with law enforcement, got involved in a pyramid scheme. And so I could have said, you know what, I'm done. And this was 20 years ago, just so you know, it was 20 years ago. So I could have just said, you know what, I'm done. Well, I'm thankful for that time, because I think what it showed me is there's no get rich quick scheme. You have to be very, very, very focused. You have to surround yourself with a small village to grow, and you have to have people hold you accountable to the one thing that if you do that one thing, you will have more success. And as you grow, that one thing changes, and you need to be able to let go of the things that you like. Most people think I have to do everything, and if I don't do it, it'll never get done right. You have to let go of that mentality, and you have to think different. So you have to trust people, and you have to be able to trust the people that are taking care of the things will get taken care of while you stay focused on your 1%.
You and I have talked before, because we all go through those difficult times and those big hurdles.
Absolutely.
And Andre and I have been through one recently. Yep. And so it's like refocusing, and it all comes down, I think, for a lot of people, there is no get rich quick. And we felt like we were chasing money a little bit and made a poor decision.
No. Yes. And that's where I think people get in trouble, is they chase money. And I've been teaching my kids to chase their passion, and the money will follow. You can get rich in anything if you are the one in that field or that niche. If you literally focus, eat, live, and breathe, whatever that is, and make it exciting for other people and create an experience that's exciting for people to either buy your product, be a part of your lives, or something like that. It's just, for me, knowing what I know now, it's so easy, but you have to stay focused.
So if people that are listening, if they are passionate about, let's say they don't want to step outside of whatever their service is, like they love doing mortgages, they love selling real estate, or, selling insurance, how does someone like that, who maybe hasn't focused on building a brand, having marketing as part of their business plan, what does that mean to them, for example? Like, are there some examples that you can give them, like, is a great place to start in that area?
Yeah, so I have a perfect example, and this just happened recently to me. So one of my one-on-one private clients, I said, hey, man, you're doing great. He's doing the phone calls. He's getting the hellos per day. And I said, let's introduce video into your marketing. Okay. Right? I love video too. So I said, okay, what is it you want? What do I do the videos on? And that's always the challenge for people. So I said, well, you have an Agent Mastermind invite every single week that you could literally put out there for your real estate partners. I said, so just do a video, read a piece of paper, and say, hey guys, super excited. This is our class this week. Hope you can make it. Click the link below and start putting video out there. So within 1 month, our fourth call of doing the video, he says, "Guy, you're not going to believe this." I said, "What?" There's a realtor that I met with face to face. All he wanted to talk about was video marketing because he had seen a couple of my videos. He loved it. He literally looked at me like I was a celebrity. And so not only is it put me out there in another sphere, but it's It makes the phone calls easier because now people are seeing me, they're hearing me. And so going way back to when I first met Carl back in 2005, he won the award for Marketer of the Year for doing video tip of the week. And I did video marketing every single week for 12 months with zero results. It goes back to persistent, consistent, just stay with it. And I'd call Carl and go, Carl, like, I'm getting nothing. Nothing's working. He goes, just keep doing it, man. Just keep doing it. And again, that's when the market dropped. That's 07, 08. I get a call from a real estate agent. And they're like, hey, could you come and teach us video marketing? I'm like, sure, but how'd you get my name? He goes, I've been getting your videos forever. So it's just, where do you start? When do you start? You start today. How do you start? You literally start putting yourself out there. Social media is a mirror. And what I mean by that is it just allows people to be who they are in a social platform. And so just be yourself. Put something out there that like brings a way of sunshine for somebody on a weekly basis. Make it fun. There's a million phone apps. There's a million different things you can do videos on that don't have to do with business. It's not about talking about candlesticks and what the market's doing and what the housing market's doing. If it's a buyer's market, it's not about that. It's about reminding people of who you are and what you do for a living. That's all that matters. And then communicating with them in a way that has them going, man, I want to work with this guy. I have to work with this guy, and I have to refer my friends, family, and coworkers to him because he's so awesome and he creates a referable experience.
Right. And I loved what you said, Andre, and I talk about this a lot, and I don't even remember now where it became so important to us. Maybe it was, when we started with you guys, but our podcast is serving success because for us, it's about serving people and their needs, not our needs. And we talked a little bit about like different posts we've made and videos we've made, and the ones that have done the best has nothing to do with us, like you said, and it has to do with them. Like, here's the top 50 write-offs that you can have as a real estate agent. I think we got 100 emails from that, right? Because it's what they want.
Awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, that's great. Exactly.
You were saying that, Facebook is really a mirror of who you are. It's so true. People want to do business with people they know, like, and trust. And if you can post that stuff on social media, they feel just a little more compelled to know, get a little insight on your life, and they feel like you're a real person.
100%. Yeah. And not only social media, I think is the problem with social media is it's free. So no one has any skin in the game, so they don't see it as, okay, anything of value. Why? Like, they just don't know how to use it. So they don't spend time using it. I mean, this is how I built Agent Mastermind, and this is going to crack you guys up. So I said, all right, I would literally do a class on, let's just pick Hootsuite, okay? Hootsuite is a platform that allows you to post to all your social media sites all at one time with one message. So I said, I'm going to do a class on Hootsuite a week before I was going to do it. I said, because I had to put the invites out, and I didn't have a Hootsuite account, okay? So I would go on YouTube, and I would Google how to use Hootsuite as a real estate agent. Click go. Search. And guess who was showing me how to use Hootsuite? A 7-year-old, 8-year-old, 9-year-old. It sounded like a 10-year-old, right? Like some kid was going, okay, this is how you use Hootsuite. Here's 10 things you need to know. Here's 10 things to do. Here's how you come up. I'm like, okay. And I started building a PowerPoint from somebody showing me how to use Hootsuite. And I did that every single week all year because I didn't have all these systems. I didn't know all the systems that were out there and available. And so I would just hear somebody talking about something like, all right, that sounds interesting. Boom, learn it, teach it. And so the best way to learn something is to teach it. So if you don't know how to use social media to build your brand or start your brand or amplify your brand, do a class on it. Because guess what? You have to learn how to do it to teach somebody else to do it. So that's why I think I'm so thankful for Agent Mastermind. I had to self-teach myself, or I was self-taught by having to teach myself how to do it.
You're an Agent Mastermind that you've been sharing about, where you do teach all these things still, has such a huge following. I mean, you have a Facebook group now that the agents can go into, and there's how many people in that Facebook group now?
Yeah. It's like 19,600 at the time, like, approaching 20,000. Yeah, pretty exciting. And we only let agents in, so you got to have it. You have something. It's funny that people try to get in that are actually agents that don't have anything in their profile that says they're an agent. It's just, so for starters, Make sure that people know who you are when they go to your profile or see you somewhere. Make sure that they don't have any question what you do for a living, and that they can very easily get a hold of you by calling you, emailing you, and all the stuff is there to be able to get a hold of you.
Yeah, and a lot of people are using even like we were talking through Messenger. So
right,
all the different communication methods now have been changing.
It's between texting and instant messenger on Facebook. It's almost the only two forms of communication. Of course, the phone call. But I think that's the sad part that this world has created is it's allowed us, our kids, millennials, to communicate in a different way that isn't face-to-face or over a phone. And so people try to hide behind that. They try to grow a business hiding behind what they really should be doing when they should be picking up a phone and making a phone call. Or, I mean, at our company, we can't send more than three. If there's more than three emails going back and forth, you have to pick up a phone and have a conversation. We don't get lost in like, okay, this hide behind an email, or hide behind an instant message, or hide behind a text, and be someone that we're not, or try to have a conversation with somebody. It's just so awkward. And so that's a pro and a con. The pro is people like you and me, Megan, and you guys is I know the difference. And so I know I don't have a problem picking up the phone so I'll beat out anybody that's trying to win it or grow a business through text or instant message. You know what I mean? Because people still want to have interaction and communication, and they want to hear your voice and they want to see you. And that's where video comes in. I learned something not too long ago. And same thing about video, the same thing about speaking is we grew up our whole lives as kids saying, don't talk to strangers. And this was really, this like blew me away. So they say, your parents say, don't talk to strangers. So here we are trying to get up on stage and talk to a bunch of strangers, or get on video and talk to a bunch of strangers on social media. And our whole DNA subconscious is going, what are you doing? You're not supposed to do that. So it goes back to childhood and how we grow up and what we're told not to do and how it relates to our marketing. Isn't that crazy?
It is. And Andre and I actually had this conversation the other day about this, how so many people aren't coming into the offices for applications. But we had talked about how everything's digitalized because people are online. They don't want to talk to someone at first, but then once they get into the process, they do want to talk to someone, and that's where video can introduce you before they're ready to speak.
Yeah, you can actually do Zoom. Like I do, I literally live on Zoom. So 99% of the time I'm having a conversation, I'm looking at somebody while I'm having a conversation, which is close. You don't get the same energy back and forth, but it's pretty dang close. And so I just 90% of the time when I'm having a conversation with somebody that I don't know or do know, I make them get on Zoom so I can see them, so I can see their body language.
Scott, and I think you make a great point about, being able to pick up the phone, and especially here as we're talking to the people listening who are, entrepreneurs and leaders. Communication is really an art. And if you're going to be a leader, if you're going to be somebody who's going to manage people, or an entrepreneur who has a business, it's so important to be able to pick up the phone. Technology is just an added asset. And I think that's those who are successful are really able to just pick up the phone without a fear, especially build relationships over the phone. Because the art of, just texting or emailing, yeah, that's great if you're quick at it. But to be able to develop a true relationship, I think you have to be able to pick up the phone, have those conversations with people, and you become a little more real at that point versus just somebody who's behind a phone or an email.
Absolutely. One perfect example is, I was talking to one of my one-on-one clients, and I said, how many people in your database? And they said 300. I said, okay, divide 300 by 20, which is 5 days a week, 4 weeks, right? It's 15 people a day gets you through 300 people in 1 month. Think about that. Where they avoid it like the plague, picking up that phone. They're like, can I text them? Can I email them? You can, but you can't ask for business in a cool way or have a nice conversation where you show appreciation for that client and then ask for business from their friends, family, and coworkers by doing it any other way than having a phone call. And it just boggles my mind that people will do anything and everything to avoid the one thing that will make them hundreds, if not millions of dollars in their lifetime, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars, by just picking up a phone and having a conversation with nothing
because
bad happens.
Think that because they're thinking about what they want, right? Like they want more business. Whereas if they start turning their focus to, and we see that with salespeople when we're teaching them to call, right? Call agents, like, because they're thinking, I want to grow my business. But if instead you go into every situation with what can I give this person? How can I help them? Who doesn't want helped with something that they're not good at or that they need?
Well, it's fear of rejection, fear of failure. They tell me no, I'm going to feel bad. Maybe they're going to hang up on me. Maybe they're not going to remember me. There's so many millions of reasons why they don't do it. But it's like, you just got to get over it and go, man, if I don't, what if it costs me not to do it? So say you get, here's the thing I always preach is like, every no has a value. They're like, what do you mean? I go, well, if you don't get a no, you physically can't get a yes, right? So maybe it takes 20 no's to get a yes. And on the 21st, like, you get a yes. So, and you make $2,000, you go, all right, 2,000 divided by 20 is $100. So every no is worth $100. So you just go, how many no's do you need to achieve your goals, dreams, desires? It's like, break it down into a dollar amount. Or if you care about money and you really want to put more money in your bank account, you just got to go for the no.
Right. And I agree. And so, and for you, I mean, we've been talking about the teachings that you're still doing. What about you have two books, correct, that you've written?
I do. Millionaire Loan Officer was a great book. It's a true story. There's two true stories in there. I blended them together. I don't want to spoil it for those that haven't read it. And then Agent Mastermind is 17 strategies that to explode your real estate business for real estate agents. And I wrote that so that not only realtors would benefit from it, but loan officers I've sold over 5,000 copies, and just because loan officers are buying it and giving it to the real estate agents.
Scotty, where can they find these books?
They're both on Amazon. So if you go to Amazon and Google, actually, if you go to MLObook.com, that's my Millionaire Loan Officer book, MLObook.com. And then Agent Mastermind, I just left on Amazon, where I left it really cheap so you could order as many as you wanted if you wanted as a loan officer. So just Google Agent Mastermind there and you'll see it.
For anyone who's listening, is like, all right, I'm ready to step out of my comfort zone, start really, serving people, trying to think about what if it's their customers or their business partners with what they want. Because today we've been talking about brand, right? Is there any misconceptions or things, like we talked about some actions they definitely could take with video, but brand, right? That's who you are, right? So what are some things that are misconceptions maybe around brand and marketing?
Well, so one that I'll say with you that'll blow your mind is, you don't, like, if I was to come in, like for you, Megan, and I promise you, if I was to delete your Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and Instagram, you would still be successful. You don't need them. You don't need social media. You need a phone. You need to connect, engage, interact with people on a personal level. You need to create a referable experience. The only way to do that is to be we as a world have accepted mediocrity as the norm, right? And so it's not hard for somebody to create a referable experience. For example, just saying hello with being happy and actually listening to people with their goals, dreams, and desires. Like, be a consultant. Like, consult with them, find out what their goals, dreams, desires, needs, and wants are, and help make them a reality. And then be a negotiator. Negotiate with them. Like, and we all know that through our transactions as a mortgage or real estate professional, there's no less than 30 people that touch the transaction. So the only way to properly negotiate for your client is to know their goals, dreams, desires, needs, and wants. So you can negotiate and be that wall that stands in front of them, having to answer all these stupid questions that come at it from the 30 different people and the 100 things that can go wrong. Right. And then the biggest one you can't even do without being a consultant or negotiator is managing people's fears and expectations, and setting the proper expectations from the beginning of the equation, and letting people know here's how it's going to go, and making them feel comfortable, and then managing their fears along the way. And so when you do those three things, and then you just be yourself on social media, no alcohol, no religion, because you're going to piss off, or first impression is terrible if you come in and you're just holding a beer all the time. And then religion, you're going to literally lose 50% of your database. It's just how it works. So don't be legit when it comes. Don't do religion and politics ever.
That.
And just give here's one thing. When you're on social media, make it about other people. Don't make it about yourself. For example, when I see someone close 2 deals today, that's so self-fulfilling for the person that closed them. But you could turn that into a huge, hey, I was so excited. I was able to help 2 families get into a new home. So thrilling to be able to do something like that in my career, where I get to be a part of somebody's memories when it comes to living and eating and breathing in a new home.
Yeah, you're honoring them.
And so it's certain little ways to tweak things to make it about other people that make you look like, oh my God, this guy. Like, for example, helping a veteran is the most exciting thing, right? They go fight for our freedom and fight for our house. Like, and for you to be able to help a veteran and say it out there, I was able to help somebody that fought for our country get into a new home. It's so exciting. My job is awesome. And so you can say my job, yeah, you're honoring them. Yeah. So it's just different ways to put yourself out there. Now, I think that you should be who you are. A lot of people hide behind who they're not. So you can't be an actor. I think you need to be real. Put things out there. There's certain things you should do and shouldn't do, but like, be who you are. Don't be somebody fake, because then you got to remember who you were when you put it out there. And somebody brings up something you know nothing about, and then you have to kind of look weird talking about it. So just honest, transparent, ethical, moral, and then it's all good. And make it fun. Be a ray of sunshine for somebody. Put fun stuff out there. People like to laugh. I make people laugh all the time. It's kind of crazy. When I answer the phone, you usually get a huge energy buzz, and people laugh as soon as they call me. So it's stuff like that gives people excitement. The energy is everything. Don't be scared to do the video, and just put yourself out there.
No. And so as we wrap up here, what's next for Scott Hudspeth?
So I got some big things coming that I personally can't talk about, but more or less, yeah. I'm super excited. It'll be out. It's probably going to be 2 to 3 months, but it's coming. So it's something I've worked very hard for, and all my partners involved. We're doing some really cool things. I'm excited to share. But I think my goal every single day that I wake up is to help one person realize that they're worth more than they really know they even are capable of being worth. And if I can just get somebody to step outside their comfort zone and be comfortable being uncomfortable, that's the hardest part. I put myself in an uncomfortable situation. Getting on this podcast, totally uncomfortable, right? But I'm not gonna not do it just because I'm scared. Like so many people hide behind, oh man, I would never do that, or I'm never gonna do video, or I'm never gonna speak, or whatever. I think you need to get comfortable being uncomfortable, and the only way to do that is to put yourself in situations that are uncomfortable, that allow you to like step outside that they say that success lies outside the comfort zone. It is so true, and I just every day I try to get somebody to step outside that line, and man, when they do, it's amazing because the confidence grows, and it's just so fun to see the difference in somebody once they see that nothing bad's going to happen, and many good things happen. And then the biggest thing I want to leave you with is be open to success. Like, ask the universe, like, be open to anything that's going to come at you, and be open to conversations, and be looking for opportunities when it comes to relationships and referrals and business partners. And it's just amazing when you open your mind to it, and you're open to it, and you look for it, and you ask for it, what comes into your life. Like, you calling me to be on this podcast, like how long has it been since we talked? Like, way too long, and we were close. We've had some major personal conversations together, and here we are. I don't know, it's been 2 or 3 years at least, and now we're back on back doing some good stuff for people and putting good information out there.
It's awesome. It is awesome. And we are going to provide the links to everything that you're doing so that people can check it out. If it could help them in their business.
Awesome.
And
I'm excited.
We appreciate you coming on, because, it's how Andre and I found each other, and our lives have been enriched because of it. And I mean, you guys were a huge part of our success, and I think you could help a lot of people. I really think anyone listening, it doesn't matter what industry they're in, they can learn from your example.
Absolutely. Yeah, just follow your passion. Like 86,400. We have 86,400 seconds in a day. Every single day. You can't make more of it. You can't roll it over. You can't invest in it. And man, if you're doing something, like, here's what I hate is, did you know that I don't even know the number, but it's a huge number. 90% of the people in the US like live for the weekend, which means that over 60% of their lives they hate. 60% of their lives they hate because they live for the weekend. They live for Friday. So all I can ask is, man, like, you don't get a second tomorrow. There's no someday on the calendar. Live with what excites you and gets you excited and makes you smile and makes you laugh. Otherwise, don't do it. Look, life is too short, So.
I love all of those things, Scotty, especially so many things that you've said today. And thank you so much for just being a leader and in this industry, because so many people need to hear your message. And I think people need to understand that they need to be open to success, and everything that they want is on the other side of being uncomfortable. And, don't go work at a job that you're not happy or passionate about. Go follow your passion. One of my favorite lines is put the mission before the commission. Everything else will come.
Yeah, I'll let you touch base, but thank you.
Thank you very much for having us. Thank you so much for coming on. And we're going to, like Megan said, we're going to post all of the links to the books and how they can reach you and contact you, because if business owners or entrepreneurs or leaders don't know who you are, they really need to know who you are.
Good times. Thank you guys so much, Dre and Megan. Appreciate you guys. Sincerely, I love what you guys are doing, and I hope that you help thousands and thousands of people light somebody else's candle so they can light somebody else's. So good stuff. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah. Thank you, Scotty, so much.
Hey, collaborators. I just wanted to say I appreciate any and all of you out there who have joined Andre and I on this journey and sharing just the lessons and the people we've met along the way. And it would mean the world to us if you would hit that subscribe button, leave us a review, and more than anything, getting some feedback from any of you that are starting a business. If you have a business and you have questions or needs or a specialty you want to share, you can reach out to us on our website at thecolablife.com and our Instagram handle as well, TheCoLab Life. You can also find us on Facebook or YouTube at TheCoLab. And you can email us at hello@thecolablife.com. Thanks again for joining us, and stay tuned next week.